The absentee Shawnee thing is on the 28th, too, Mark. The Oklahoma Hemp Summit.
Right, am I?
Only if you don't believe in the power of friendship.
Really?
You guys are good.
Movies right when you want them. Watch unlimited movies instantly for only $9 a month from Netflix.
That's so cute, it's stupid.
It's O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop in today and check out store-wide savings, plus earn double points on over 225 items. It's our way of saying thank you. If you're not already a member, sign up today during O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month. It's fast, easy, and free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
What? Where's my Pringles?
Good morning, welcome to the show.
Entdecke eine neue Dimension.
Thanks for joining us.
Erlebe ein völlig neues Gefühl. Mit 3 bei Adidas. For men and women.
Good to have you on.
A new fragrance experience by Adidas.
Please. And hello, my name is Mark Ford, and this is the Hemp Farmer Heroes Radio Network. And I'm your host today. Sorry about last week. We figured that the Super Bowl would have had everybody's attention, and decided not to go out because, I mean, at 8 o'clock in the morning, I was making chili, and the rest of you guys were probably tailgating or doing something, or at least getting the beer cold. But anywho, here we are. We are back on the air, and we've got one heck of a show today. The Hemp Farmer Heroes Radio Network is glad and very happy to have Tim Hausenberg. He represents the Cherokee tribe. And we have Earl Hatley from the Ogapa, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. How do you say that, Sean?
Quapaw.
That's the Quapaw tribe.
The Quapaw tribe. There we go. I apologize, guys. And then we have, again, there's Sean Vanderpool. He's with Hempire. And then Dr. Brad Fawcett has joined us as the agricultural doctor that we need for any kind of information that might come up that he can help answer us for. I'm Mark Ford. I represent Ford Biofuel. Amy Anson was online with us from Green Buffalo Distro, including Joaquin Rodriguez from Green Buffalo Distro. Kim Grubbs is with us from Miss Delta Hemp, and Sam Wright from Green Buffalo Distro. So, good morning, Amy. Are you there?
Good morning, Mark. Thanks for having us.
Now, of course, you know the deal, right? So, what happened last week? Did we have a good time at the Super Bowl party or what?
We did. I think it was copacetic for everybody.
I'm a Niners fan, so not too much, but I enjoyed it.
There you go. Yeah, the Niners were picked to win, though. That's what's funny. Everybody picked the Niners to win that game.
Yeah, they were the favorite.
Absolutely.
They were picked as the favorite. But, well, anyway, guys, what we're going to be doing today, we're talking about how we're working, Ford Biofuel and Green Buffalo Distro are working with the American Indigenous. That's right, Indian Nation from the out west there of the United States. They are going to be coming online with the Green Buffalo Network and with us to supply lots of hemp acreage, many, many, many acres of hemp acreage. And they are going to grow the industrial hemp. The idea is to put the Indians to a good work, give them guaranteed pay, give them a guaranteed job, give them a guaranteed contract for 5 years, supply them seed, supply them fuel, just like we're going to do the American farmers. right? The idea is to put everybody to work. If we have to rely on the United States government to put everything for the farmers, we will be in the same position we were in from the 1980s. And additional, what we want to do is remediate the soil. We want to keep the soil remediated because the stuff gets bad. Lots of toxins in our soil. And that's because of all of the chemicals that the farmers have to spray on these crops. The cool thing about it is what we have in our hemp, they plant, they cut, they bale. We're not spraying. We don't need spray. There's a lot of people out there that are hemp farmers say, oh, no, you need spray. You got to have that. You got to have all of those chemicals. No, you don't, guys. I mean, everybody has their opinion. And I have seen this stuff grow in the middle of the desert in Arabia. So it does not need chemicals sprayed on it. Plus, we have fiber contracts for clothing. You can't spray chemicals on the fiber. It could damage people's skin or give them problems. Even if it's been washed, it can still give you problems. So let me get this going here. Amy, where are we going to go from here? We got some people that want to speak, so how are we going to handle that?
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, I'm just still thinking about what you're talking about, the remediation. Guys, if we just set the commodity aside for a minute, if you couldn't do anything with the green buffalo plant and just plant it to clean the air, soil, and water, we've got a game changer. We've got a solution for sustainable environment. So that is really exciting. And where do we want to take it? I'd say let's look at what happened last year, what you've done, Mark, from this category, where you're at today, and why we are engaging the natives today. We need their help. And the gentleman on the phone today, oh man, it's just such a privilege and honor to be on the line with them. So Mark, why don't you just give us a little bit of background of who you are, Mr. Ford, and what your vision is with the tribes. This is incredibly exciting. So just give us a little nutshell background on you.
Well, Amy, it's funny. It's like everybody wants a nutshell background on me, and I wish, I have the face for radio. That's one of the cool things about me. I have a great face for radio. And the thing is, everything is the thing is with me because I got everything in one spot in my mind. The point is let's get the Indians. The Indians are my family is part Indian. We're part Shawnee, right? My family goes back to the early 1900s, and that's right, guys, Henry Ford. We did the biofuel, or he did the biofuel back then, and got stepped on by the federal government. So what we're doing now is we are rekindling his flame. We have made the fuel, but it was 100 years later, and it turned out just as good as he made it also. As a matter of fact, my group here, Amy and Joaquin and Kim and Sam, they've all seen the videos of us making this fuel, pouring it in the glass, swirling it around, and taking a big drink. So it's all good. Everything is really good with this stuff. So what we decided to do was go to the American farmers first and reach out to them and say, hey, guys, we know that you got beat up last year because America did this thing against China where they didn't want to sell the crops to China, and farmers lost. Then all the farmers were going, hey, CBD, let's grow CBD. Oh, we'll buy your CBD. Yes, we'll buy it. Well, here I am. I'm going to shoot holes in CBD. As far as I'm concerned, the only thing CBD is good for is mixing it with biofuel and burning it. Reason being is it's all snake oil in my eyes, right? We need to concentrate on what's more important. The hemp is more important because what does it do? We can create plastic with it. You can't do that with CBD oil. We can create fiber with it, clothing. You can't do that with CBD oil. We can create hempcrete for concrete that's stronger than regular concrete and non-flammable. You can't do that with CBD oil. We can take the fiber and make fiberglass out of it for cars and trucks. You can't do that with CBD oil. The United States Veterans Affairs has reached out to us and asked us to grow fiber for the American soldiers. So we can supply them with prosthetic limbs for the wounded warriors. I'm all over that. I don't care if my company makes $1 off of that, but you can't do that with CBD oil. We can make fuel with our product. Now, see, that's what you can do with CBD oil. Just dump it in a fuel tank and burn it, because that's all it's good for. So what happened? These farmers went out and grew a whole bunch of CBD, and they got screwed. I mean, in a nutshell, they got hammered because nobody was there to buy it. Oh, we'll buy your stuff, and guess what happened? They didn't buy it. I personally know right now in America over 100 million pounds of CBD biomass is just laying around waiting for someone to pick it up and do something with it. We're going to try to grab that CBD or hemp, and all I'm going to do is take it to our refineries that we are now bringing online, and I'm going to burn it because that's all it's good for. So that's going to help those farmers. Now there's farmers in Canada. You know, you guys have probably heard my podcast where I bust on Canada all the time. But, you know, it doesn't matter what country you're in. A farmer is a farmer is a farmer. I don't care if you're red, yellow, green, blue, or black. You're still a farmer. And these guys just got just as screwed as the American farmers. So we're going to try to pick up all the hemp we can get out of Canada while we are growing ours in the process. So now enter the Indian nation, right? We decided to go with the people who have these connections to Indian nation. The Cherokee Nation, the Choctaw Nation, the Shawnee Nation, Navajo, all of them are coming on board with us. Because why? Because our company has built the team to put everything in place for our groups to grow for us, receive a check within 48 hours, minus weekend and holidays, right, that they grew. And they don't have to wait for the stock market to go up and down for the price of a bushel. So we're very happy, very excited to have Sean Vanderpool and Tim Hausenberg and Earl Hatley online with us to speak with us about this process and how their tribes are, how they feel about what we're bringing to the table. Dead air.
Dead air.
Amy.
Where's Sean and Tim?
Come on, guys.
I'm here.
Yeah, apologies.
Awesome.
I had my phone on mute.
It's
We're
okay.
excited to be here. Mark, we appreciate the invitation to help get the word out about the Native Americans and the things that hemp can do to remediate the soil and give them some type of income that, you know, they're used to doing. They're farmers, you know, let's bring that back.
Yes, it's very exciting to be working with Sean and Earl and Dr. Fawcett as well. I know I didn't really hear anybody touch on this, and I know Sean will, that, you know, we're working as a group, you know, globally with universities and with the indigenous. You know, I represented the co-founder of the nonprofit, a Cherokee nonprofit in Stillwell, Oklahoma, where we, with Dr. Fawcett and the University of Arkansas, were the first to do a phytoremediation hemp study with the U of A. Since then, you know, we worked with other farmers, not just in the Cherokee Nation, but in other nations and other bands of Cherokee. You know, Earl Hatley up there north, who works with the Quapaw, he's also Cherokee. So it's not really just a tribal concern or an individual tribal concern as it is all of our citizens, you know. And so we're very excited to be a part of this. And Earl, who has been one of the main vocal points or one of the main warriors for Superfund sites in Oklahoma and where the Quapaw Nation, where Tar Creek is, I really wish, I'm hoping that working with people like Mark, Mr. Ford, Amy, the universities, Dr. Brad, can bring a solution to, you know, the largest contaminated site in the United States, and it's right here in Indian country. So that's really been my passion and drive for being part of this. We really appreciate what you're bringing as an option, not only to feed us, you know, but to give us a chance to participate in emerging industry and an opportunity to clean up our lands.
Well, this is Amy.
Where
I just
exactly
want to
is
jump
your
in
land
really
at?
quick.
Excuse me?
Go ahead, Amy.
No, I was just gonna. Yeah, it's a good question. Where is the land at? But before you answer that, you're thanking us. We are thanking you, and the laws that have changed now in America with the Farm Bill, because this is not new. What Mark and the Ford Biofuel program, what Green Buffalo Distro is standing with you guys, it is the Native American, the Native Indigenous that had the green buffalo, this plant, as a circular economy to begin with. They use this plant for fuel, for shelter, for energy, all the things that Mark has been describing. We're not reinventing the wheel here. So I'm really excited to understand more about, from the tribal perspective, where you guys are at with this plant, because to many farmers this is new. However, to your community, it's not. And we're really picking up where we left off. In the 1800s, there were 40 million buffalo, or bison, to be technical about it, 40 million. And they extinguished those and put the natives in a very precarious position. And it killed. It really, really stifled revitalization, So that's what we're up to, guys, as a community. And the borders are blurred, just like Mark is saying. So I just want to give you the floor to talk about what you guys have been up to at Hempire and where you're at with growing hemp strong and bringing that program to the Ford Biofuel Hemp Farmer Hero program.
So basically the way Hempire was started is we started from the ground up in research, using patented soil technology. Now we remediate along with the use of hemp to a native standard where it was before we knew what chemicals and herbicides were. And it's environmentally friendly. We don't believe in chemicals. Everything is organic. As Mark touched on, you can't sell textile with chemical on it. Nobody wants chemical next to their skin. So everything that we do and support is organic and from some type of natural process. Number two is, this is Dr. Fawcett's specialty, is the genetics have to be correct for your end product, textile, biofuel, even the snake oil. It's got to be the right genetic if you're going to do it right. And Dr. Fawcett is the backbone of Hempire's genetics, which he'll go into a little bit in depth here shortly. The next issue that we look to solve and accomplish that is many farmers, Native American and otherwise, have land but don't necessarily have the ability to fit, plant, harvest any one of the three, all of the acres that they would like to plant in hemp, just don't have the capability. We offer custom farming. We'll come in and do it all for you, and you can sit on the porch and watch us. Partnered with Mr. Ford, there is always somebody for your biomass to go to. We don't come in, grow biomass, and go, I'm sorry, there's no place for it to go. Mr. Ford touched on, that's already a problem. We've solved the end user problem. No matter where it goes, it has a home, textile, biofuel, bioplastic, wherever. It's going to go to a good place that has a good end product. We eliminate brokers. We work directly with our farmers, directly with our buyer. The farmer is being looked out for in this model. Whether you're a 1 acre farmer, a 1,000,000 acre farmer, this model works for everybody out there. So I'm going to let Mr. Fawcett take over about genetics and the importance of knowing what you're planting in and life cycles and the science stuff. Dr. Fawcett, go ahead.
Hey, good morning or afternoon now. So we last year with Native Health Matters Tim Hausberg's nonprofit in Cherokee Country, we set out to develop a phytoremediation study at the University of Arkansas to evaluate the uptake and bioaccumulations within the plant of certain metals. Most of those metals were arsenic, cadmium, and lead specifically. What we tried to do was set LD50 limits so that we knew kill rates, what this plant would actually tolerate and what zones would actually be really beneficial to plant. From that, we've focused our efforts on genetics to complement that study, and hopefully we'll be working in Tar Creek in highly lead-contaminated soils to help remediate that and give them a end product on a compromised land. While cleaning up the environment, we have a end product. So through Hempire, it's allowed us to really expand our genetic footprint and start a selection that is based on the end use of each crop, whether it be fiber, whether it be fuel, whether it be chip mill. We have some genetics that we can throw at any of those issues. So with that said, I think our waterkeeper Earl can really expand on what's going on up there at Tar Creek and how beneficial that can be.
Waterkeeper, this is Mark. Guys, I got to tell you one thing. I'm so excited to hear all the stuff that you're talking about. But unfortunately, I'm going to take a break, right? The network is saying it's commercial time. I hate commercials, guys, but we got to do it. We'll be right back after these, just a few seconds.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, George Walker Bush, do solemnly swear.
I, George Walker Bush, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
That I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
Let me just get this. Hello? Hey, I was just thinking about you. Yes, I was. Uh-huh. Yes, I was. No, you weren't.
That I will faithfully execute the office of President.
So, what are you wearing?
Of President of the United States.
Oh. Say, can I call you back?
So help me God.
No, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up.
So help me God.
You hang up.
Congratulations.
It's President's Day, and everybody's getting in on the special offer from Verizon Wireless. For just $25 per month, get 1,500 anytime minutes, plus free long distance. Verizon Wireless. Join in.
This year for Father's Day, Dad does not want another necktie. He does not want a picture frame. He does not want any device made for trimming nostril hair. He does not want anything that underhandedly suggests he do more chores. He does not want anything made in art class. He does not want anything ordered from one of those catalogs you find tucked into the seat in front of you on an airplane. He does not want a book he is never going to read. And he does not want a gift certificate to a coffee shop. This year for Father's Day, give Dad the gift of fire! At Lowe's, all gas grills, charcoal grills, and all other manner of grilling accessory are on sale. Not for you. For Dad! Lowe's. Grow up.
Okay, hey, this is Mark, and I'm back. I've got our show with us today, our guests, Tim Hausenberg, Earl Hatley, Sean Vanderpool, and Dr. Brad Fawcett, all a part of the Indian Nation tribes trying to get this put together so where everybody can benefit. Also with me is Amy Ansel, Joaquin Rodriguez, Kim Grubbs, and Sam Wright. I want to welcome them back, as they are always with me whenever we come onto a show.
Good morning.
Waterkeeper Hausenberg, yes?
Waterkeeper.
No, that's Mr. Earl Hatley is our waterkeeper.
Okay,
we'll
I apologize, Mr. Hatley. I'm still trying to get this straight, sir. Go ahead and continue what you were saying, sir. Let's continue where you left off.
Yeah, I'm Earl Hatley. I'm the Cherokee, and I'm the Grand River Keeper for the Grand River watershed up here in the extreme northeast corner of Oklahoma. The watershed drains from the tri-state mining district of Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma. It's 500 square miles of abandoned lead and zinc mines. There's 5 Superfund sites within that area, and the Oklahoma portion, the Tar Creek Superfund site, is 47 square miles of abandoned lead and zinc mines, is the largest and most complicated, according to the EPA, of all the Superfund sites in the United States. We have a complicated network of interconnected mines within that 47 square miles. The mines filled up with water when the mining stopped in the 60s, and in 1979, the mine water surfaced and began to drain down Tar Creek, killing all of the fish. And it's been that way ever since. To this very day, we have the equivalent of the Animas River spill in Colorado every 3 days flowing down Tar Creek into the Grand River and Grand Lake, our primary drinking water source. Since 1979, every 3 days, the equivalent of the Animas River spill, unabated, and the EPA does not have a plan for dealing with it. The whole area is piled with mine tailings up to 200 feet tall, these piles. It looks like New Mexico out there in this lush prairie and Ozark mountain uplift area. It's a moonscape, and EPA is estimating it would take another 30 years to clean it up. At the rate they're going, I think it will take longer. This is why we need innovation in cleanup out there, because their plan just is going to take too long, and it's not working. And they're not prioritizing the off-site contamination and what's really going on. So I'm excited about this other idea that we're talking about today. So we're working on getting plots within the Superfund site of different types of contaminated areas, and using the hemp to demonstrate its abilities to clean up heavy metals, lead, cadmium, manganese, arsenic, etc., because we have it all there from the soil, and then what you can do with the plants afterwards. And so that's what our next steps are right now. As we pull the data together from Arkansas University and Sean and everyone, we work to get these pilot projects going and demonstrate the ability of hemp to clean up soil, and then broaden that project and to be approved by EPA for larger cleanup of the site and expand that over time so that we can get some real cleanup of the area.
What do you think the time frame is for this kind of a cleanup?
Well, I'd like to get we're working to get the pilot project started right away, and then it will expand as fast as we can demonstrate the viability.
You know, Fort McClellan, Alabama was shut down due to being a Superfund. And there is talk about putting nothing but hemp plants on that property now to try to remediate the soil that the company Monsanto contaminated. Do you think that this would help the soils at Indian Nation?
Absolutely.
You mean up here at Tar Creek? Yeah, I think it will, but the problem is the EPA. You know, we have to demonstrate to them the viability, and So that is not necessarily a fast process, but I think with enough, political persuasion as we demonstrate the viability, that we can move it along, at a fast clip. But we have to have the data behind us as we do this.
Mark, I think
I've got I got a question from a guy named Chris Jones on our system, and he's asking how many years for a cleanup project would you predict this is going to take?
Well, actually, Earl, if you would let me jump in just on this one here, I hate to interrupt. So along with hemp, because of the amount of damage that has been done in these Superfund sites, hence they are a Superfund site, we bring in, Hempire brings in a technology that it really doesn't matter what man has done to the soil. We have a process that will take all of that out of the soil. It is EPA approved, FDA and USDA approved. So we're going to go in and attempt to basically hit it with a double whammy. Hemp up top, that'll keep the dust, everything down. It'll keep the erosion down. It'll keep it from running into Tar Creek as bad as what it does. And then we use our technology that goes deep into the soil and down into the aquifer, which is also contaminated. So we have to hit it in a double, or hemp, it's just going to take too long, and hemp's not going to get down to the aquifer down below. So to really clean these
way
up,
too far deep.
Yeah,
we
have to do more than just one remediation, but hemp is that's our number one. We need to hold on to the soil and the contamination that's there so we can treat it there, and it's not running down the creek and people are drinking it and eating the fish.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Sean. I didn't want to mention it without you mentioning it first. Sean has this already EPA-approved project that goes with our hemp project, which will move hemp remediation faster with the EPA. So we're optimistic that hemp will move along with this, and it won't be like trying to push hemp solely by itself, and we'll be able to remediate a lot faster that way and get hemp on EPA's map as a vital remediation approved project.
Sir, what do you see as the rotation crop other than hemp? Hemp 1 year, what's the rotation crop that you see should be there?
Those areas, it's only hemp until it's remediated enough. No matter what you would take out of there, it's not going to be good for human consumption, and it's going to be contaminated. So really, all it's doing is the ground putting it in something, and then you have to that you're not burning it, putting it into the environment or whatever else. It has to be contained, and it has to be destroyed rather than contained.
A product like that we could use for fuel. A product like that could be used for fuel.
Your technology, yes. DEA technology, government technology, they incinerate it.
That's what we're going to do anyway, but we're going to incinerate it as fuel.
I have a question for Earl. Earl, you were talking about evidence demanding a verdict, and that will really accelerate this whole agenda. Has any authority or leadership acknowledged, hemp famously known for cleaning radioactive materials from the soil around the infamous nuclear reactor in Chernobyl? Is there any reference to that or acknowledgement that there is evidence from bioremediating from sites such as Chernobyl?
Brad?
Let me jump in here real fast. This is Brad Fawcett. We did, again, we specialized and looked directly at lead, zinc, arsenic, cadmium, several different heavy metals this year in a phytoremediation project at the University of Arkansas to kind of tee us up into this project. We found incredible results with lead in particular, and this site is a heavily contaminated lead site. So I think we have the university research now to go forward with this project.
That's fantastic.
And Brad, and with Hempire, we've started kind of a joint venture that includes multiple universities, multiple cultivars that fit into Sean's our Empire's program that we'll be working with together. And as I sit here and listen to Earl and Mark and Sean and Brad, what we're really talking about, and not to tag it's the entourage effect. It's going to take all of us. It's going to take hemp. It's going to take Ford Fuel. It's going to take a global university study. It's going to take Empire's patented blueprint for farming, right, where we're coming in and underwriting results for this new crop. And, Earl and I, coming from Indian country, are very, very excited about having the opportunity to have a new crop for rotation that brings us not only fuel and fiber, but food and a point of interest, almost a wave of the entourage to bring all these great things to this new crop, this new rotation crop, fuel, fiber, clothes, food, but to affect the environment in a positive impact as well as economics positively. So I think it's all of us together, the entourage, that will bring these things forward. And I know Earl's excited about it. Coming from Indian country, where I come from, where the average age is 53, because of our water, because of our food, this is real exciting for all of us. And I think it's going to take all of us, and we're glad to be a part of to ride this Ford Fuel wave into all these other areas.
Yeah, I'm the first person to stand up and say that I cannot do this by myself. I go out to a lot of people, and I speak to a lot of people over the last couple of months, and they say, Mr. Ford, why do you need us? Why do you, you're so big, why do you need us? Because I'm the first person to admit I can't do this alone. If I don't have the right team with me or the right group of people with me that have the same focus, that all I'm doing is banging my head against a brick wall. And I knew when I went to America with the farmers there, and when Indian Nation approached us, I knew that it was the perfect solution for, one, creating more jobs, two, giving them better pay, three, being able to supply a product that, unfortunately, America will not let on the streets, and four, being able to supply a product to the aviation industry that will, in time, reduce the CO2 emissions in the air, in our atmosphere, is what I'm told. Our fuel will reduce the atmospheric CO2 by 3% over the next few years. And I know 3% don't sound like a big number, but it's huge. It could be almost 1 degree in the ice and for icebergs. You never know. I mean, I'm not a scientist, but they're telling me that it's a huge number, but 3% to me is not very big. But these scientists know more than I do. I'm not a scientist.
You're pretty close to it, though. Just saying. Go ahead.
So actually, to answer the question that we got sidetracked on for your listener, I would estimate 8 to 10 years and close to $600 million to clean it 100% to where it's safe.
That's a long time.
Well, they've been doing it since the 60s and 70s. So.
Well, the EPA started on the Tar Creek site officially in '83 when they declared it a Superfund site. We were the first Superfund site listed on the new Superfund program in '83. Work began in '86, so they've been working on it since '86. They recently projected that at the rate that they're moving, it will take 30 more years to clean it up, and I'm skeptical that they'll get it cleaned up in 30 years. So that is the contrast between the EPA's project plan and timeline and what Sean's talking about. And I also wanted to interject that up here, the Tar Creek Superfund site in the Tri-State Mining District all drains into the Grand River in Oklahoma and into Grand Lake, and it impacts 10 tribal nations with the downstream impacts. There's 9 tribes in this first county, Ottawa County in Oklahoma, that it all drains through, plus the Cherokee Nation in the wider territory around it. So 10 tribes are impacted by the site and the downstream impacts from the site. So that's a lot of tribes that are being polluted by this.
That,
Not to mention,
possible? You guys think it's only 8 to 10 years? There's nothing less. There's nothing else that could make it less than that kind of time.
It's Mark. It's a possibility. I say 8 to 10 years, just because I would rather give a longer deadline and get it done much sooner. It's a crapshoot, but that's 100% realistic. There's piles out there that are 5-6 acres and 300 feet tall, and they're all over. There's 50 square miles of it. The abandoned mines underneath, my employees, when they go out to do remediation, they have to be careful that they don't collapse a mine and fall hundreds of feet into the ground. So it's fixing Swiss cheese.
Wow. It's a shame. It's a shame that we've brought our soil and our earth to this point. It's a shame. I think that if we were using hemp or industrial hemp, or even the fibers from either the CBD plant or marijuana, right, and we were using it for good, I think that we wouldn't be in this position right now. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, totally. We are struggling with, everybody's starting to put timelines on how can we fix it. I think a big key of it are podcasts like this, groups like this, because as Earl will tell you, in Indian country, is still not hip to the idea of hemp. We have many tribal nations that are just now beginning to study its benefit. That's the political side of the so-called tribal government, just now getting up to speed. And so these conversations, these projects, again, bringing an entourage to bring fuels to light, to food to light, and environmental cleanups to light, could accelerate that timeline in a way that we still don't understand. It's these conversations right here that may, what if all 10 tribes said, yeah, we want to help, pass a law, here, Mr. Ford, here, Hemp Fire, what do we do to help? See that? There's an accelerator. So,
that's a solution. That's a solution. What are the tribes growing right now, Tim? Are any of them growing cotton?
Yeah. Some of them, not in Oklahoma, I don't believe. I think tribal members are. We're just now starting to see tribes grow hemp and talk about growing hemp. The 23rd of this month, myself, Hemp Fire, and Brad will be at the Absentee Shawnee, who, along with our nonprofit, were some of the first in Oklahoma to grow industrial hemp. Along with Brad, Native Health Matters Group, the first biomass, the first smokable outdoor hemp, the first outdoor hemp in Oklahoma, and we were the first to start studying it, not hemp per se, but hemp to clean up. So we're going to be out there speaking and talking. We have an event. We were in Florida talking. We were in Clemson talking to Clemson University. So we're out pounding the dirt, trying to get interest up, and it's our hope that these discussions, these groups, these studies and us out there pushing hemp for food, fiber, and fuel will, begin to bring an entourage effect to some of these areas that people have just kind of ignored in Indian country for a while. So, Earl can probably tell you about the struggle we've had with a lot of the tribal organizations getting on board with this. It's been slow, and so we're glad to be a part of, what Mr. Ford's doing, because it'll bring light to this.
Absolutely.
Well,
they
Mr.
don't know
Ford
what
is
they
being
don't
told
know.
We have to go to a commercial, right? So I have to take it out for a second, and we will return in just a moment.
Luxury. The aroma is full-bodied, the flavor is decadent, the touch divine, and the drive? Yes, the drive of luxury is simply infinity. Introducing the Infinity Luxury Test Tour. If you think you are familiar with luxury, you haven't driven an Infinity. Infinity of Elk Grove invites you to truly become familiar with luxury and take a luxury test tour. It's like a test drive, but with more luxury. We invite you to drive luxury to luxury, not for an hour or even a day, but for an entire weekend. Your choice. Select your Infinity and motor off to a luxury weekend in Lake Tahoe or Napa Valley. And yes, all the luxury is on us. Introduce yourself to luxurytesttour.com and truly become familiar with luxury. Infinity of Elk Grove is literally giving you the keys to a luxury experience like none other. luxurytesttour.com. Drive luxury, drive infinity. Infinity of Elk Grove. Expect more.
We're here asking people from all over what they think of Lipton green tea. Let's hear what people from Texas have to say. How about China? Germany? How about people from the North Pole? Or Mars? What about mimes? Oh, right. People with their jaws wired shut? Yeah, a barbershop quartet. Oh, you guys are great. How about race car drivers? What about you, high school glee club, here on a field trip? Well, that settles it. It sounds like everyone loves the taste of Lipton green tea. With its protective antioxidants from real tea, it's not just good for you, it's to you. Lipton tea can do that.
Okay, guys. Hey, welcome back. This is Mark Ford, and I am here live broadcasting from Bogota, Colombia, believe it or not. And we are being re-simulcast on 142 AM FM radio stations across the United States. Please don't ask me who they are. I just say, hey, do what you got to do, guys. And I'm hoping that here in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be on a lot of university radio stations as well. We are working that deal also. But, hey, just to give you a heads up, this is what happened. We just got this thing running on YouTube as a live network. And, well, fortunately, I'll take what we can get. We got 16 people on YouTube listening, which is okay, right? But on the other network that I have, we have 847,000 people listening. Now, across the board
guys.
on the United States, I'm sorry, Amy?
I said, hey, guys.
Yeah, we have 840,000 people listening on the internet, right? That's above and beyond YouTube. And with Clear Channel on the AM/FM network, we're looking probably at around 5 to 6 million, probably. That's what our count was last time. So I'm thinking we're going to hit about 9-10 million people this week, which is kind of cool. I like that. That's great. But remember, guys, when you're watching the show or listening to the show on YouTube, be sure you subscribe or give us a like and make it happen. Pass the network radio system on to your friends. Pass it on to who you think would be interested in hearing us babble about what we think is better and what we're moving forward to. One of the things that we got to remember is that we all need to have the same vision. Unfortunately, in our age group, this is not going to affect our lifespan, but we're doing this for our children's children. This is going to be extending the life of them or their families. And if we don't start now, it's not going to do very much at all. Our intention is to go across the United States growing industrial hemp. not CBD, not THC, right? If I had the graphic animation or the sound effects, I would shoot 20 millimeters into the sky, right? The idea is do industrial hemp. You guys heard me talk about it earlier, what we can do, what we can't do with it. And now I want to go back to what was being said about the Superfund and how we're moving forward with this. So I apologize for interrupting you guys. I mean, we had to take that commercial break, but now it's back to you.
Go ahead, Tim.
Well, we were talking about the timelines, right? How long and how many of us and what's it going to take to impact these sites. And Earl was talking a little bit about what the EPA's timeline was. And Hemp Farmer, Sean from Hemp Farmer was talking about what he believes that we could do it together there, specifically at Tar Creek. And, and I was bringing up Mark, and what I was trying to allude to is, again, a group of us, the entourage. So, Sean working through Hemp Farmer and our groups there on his plan. Earl, working, he's got a big working group coming up in September that it will be a lot of folks sitting around talking about what do we do, what have we done, what are the new techniques, and I'm going to ask Earl to talk about that. Us working with Ford Energy and the Green Buffalo, all these things pushing together at one time. Even though we're over here growing fuel or plastic, us being attached at the hip on this movement also helps us on the Superfund side, because we got to clean up, to grow fuel, right? So, Earl, maybe you could talk to us about the synergy that may be able to help accelerate this plan with events like what you have coming up in September.
Well, Tim is referring to our annual conference that my organization, lead agency, puts on every September. This coming September will be our 22nd annual conference. My organization is 22 years old now. We incorporated in 97. And so we're bringing in another large organization, an international organization, Western Mining Action Network. I'm on their steering committee. I've been on their steering committee since 2003. And their biannual conference is going to coincide or join our annual conference. So we're bringing in scientists and legal experts that are part of the Western Mining Action Network, or WMAN is the acronym. We're bringing WMAN's experts to our conference. And so we're going to be looking at the acid mine water drainage, the collapse of the mine site, and everything that's going on there, along with this project that we're talking about today. And so it'll be a meeting of the minds, so to speak. EPA will be there as well. The 3 states involved with the tri-state mining. And so it'll be a big time for getting together and brainstorming what's going on. By that time, we'll have met with EPA in the states and Quapaws about our pilot project, and hopefully we'll be moving forward. So just want to emphasize that right now what we're talking about, the pilot projects with hemp and Sean's EPA-approved methodologies are not approved yet. These are plans that we're working on. We'll be working to get approval for this with the tribe and with EPA over the next few months. But right now, these are just, everything's in the planning stages, what we're talking about today.
So
hopefully we'll have approvals and be working forward by September.
What's interesting about that, Mark, is that this area, this 4-state area, and help me with this, Earl, if you kind of just go out from, the Superfund site there in Quapaw, is some of the most rich farmland in that area. So in Oklahoma, you're either up in that area, help me, I'm struggling with the farmland they call it, and you go across the line, you're in Kansas and Missouri. And so these are also, it's also not just the site of a Superfund site. Some of the best farmlands for our rotation crops are in that exact area. So I think there's an opportunity, to talk about both these subjects, to get with farmers in the area, not just environmentalists, and to tag team it, so to speak.
Well, yes, this whole area we're talking about, historically, before the mines tore it up, historically, if you look back into the 1800s, what they wrote about this area was called the hay capital of the world. It was tall grass prairie, rich, lush, and tall, and the cattle drivers would go through here on their way to market with their cattle in Kansas City and stop and graze and fatten their cattle all up in this area. And they admired this area. They couldn't have it because it belonged to the tribes. But they wanted at it desperately because of its lushness, like you're talking about. So yeah, it's good farmland. It's
some of the best,
very productive before they tore it up. There's good farmland all outside the Superfund area for sure, and up in Kansas and west and south of the Superfund area. It's very good farmland.
So there's an opportunity there, Mark, for us to be growing fuel and working on cleaning up at the same time, all around us.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the right crop at the right time.
I got a question asked to me. I got a question asked to me on the site here. Says, how are you planning on remediation of the deep aquifers? That comes from David R. Bilaski. How are you planning on remediation of the deep aquifers?
Okay, so that's kind of my side of it. What we use is a patented carrier with an extremophile based upon what contamination is in the soil. These extremophiles eat this contamination as their natural food and energy and excrete an amino acid. What we do with these is inject them into wells that we will have to put in based upon how safe the area is. We'll inject it into
Ooh, I think
silence.
you got cut off. I think you got cut off.
any hose. The water flows through it. It's got a float on top.
There you got cut off there, buddy.
Oh, sorry. Where did you guys lose me?
About 15, 20 seconds.
Okay.
Injecting into the aquifer.
We take and inject it into the aquifer in likely something that size, 150, 200 different injection zones. The extremophiles eat the contaminant, excreting an amino acid, so there's no environmental impact. We just get rid of it. That's the generality of it. Think of it like, I hate to use this term, but a fracking drill. But we're putting something in good rather than fracking sand. Same concept.
Yeah,
Pretty
so
exciting.
it basically locks it up and flocculates out those metals so that they hit the bottom of the well site again. Once they're at the bottom of the mine, they won't dissolve freely into the water, and the water running down won't contaminate the Grand Lake as much. And then from there, we can start treatments, catch ponds, things of that nature to try to manage the discharge. Go through big giant beds of hemp to kind of create a kidney effect back to the environment.
So I have a surprise guest for everybody. This is Dr. Will Smith, or Will Spencer. He is the brains. He is the science behind the technology that I use. I can't take any credit other than I know the genius. Dr. Will, you on here?
This is Will.
Mr. Smith, welcome.
Spencer, that was my fault. Dr. Will Spencer.
Oh, Mr. Spencer. Dr. Spencer, welcome to the show.
Oh, good deal. You can hear me.
Absolutely.
Oh, awesome.
Well, we were going to kind of let you, for the more educated viewers on microbes and whatnot, let you kind of go into a bit about how it is we do what we do and why it works, from, general soil remediation to something as extreme as an EPA Superfund site.
Well, it's not that difficult when you understand that the microbes that are in our environment are very responsible for health, cleanliness, balance, and we live in an environment that is extremely out of balance, as I've just heard you guys talking about that. And when you use the microbes in concentration, they will digest petrochemicals, benzenes, methanes, methyl groups. They will digest petroleum, radioactive elements, not just digest them, but I like to call them, transmute them into actual beneficial components for the environment. And this is nothing new, by the way. This has been going on since the 60s. It's just that this country has not allowed the use of them because of the influence in the lobbying of the petroleum companies. And now it's getting to the point where the petroleum companies and their pollution is becoming overwhelming. So now they're looking for these more natural, healthier alternatives that have been here all along. We just haven't been allowed to use them in this country. And we've been using them all over the world except this country. And that's where the experience has come from decontaminating sites from around the world. And now it's time to bring this technology back home because it was discovered and it was created here from the 60s to the 90s for the most part.
And then how does that affect us now?
Well, our environment, because of the microbial imbalance and the amount of toxicity, it is paramount that we put these microbes back into the environment to do the cleaning up, because most of these microbes, they're not in our environment anymore. So by putting them back into the environment, we now have the ability to clean the environment, feed the environment, and then increase the medicinal or nutrient value of whatever you're growing in this environment. So for instance,
using hemp, what you're saying, using hemp will not take 8 to 10 years.
I didn't understand the question. Could you repeat that, please?
So earlier it was discussed that it would take 8 to 10 years, maybe, and he was actually being conservative, right? It would take 8 to 10 years to clean, to remediate the soil. But do you think it would take a lot less, or is it really 8 to 10 years?
In an open field agricultural setting, we're able to do it in one growing cycle while you're growing the crops.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's fantastic.
That's where we're at now. We had a field study last year in California, in the Central Valley, that we were able to increase the yield on tomatoes by 47%. We were able to increase the nutrient value by 20% of the tomatoes during the growing cycle, clean the soil, and at the same time feeding the plants, increasing the immunity, cutting down on the disease and pest pressure significantly. And that's our first trial that we've done, a big trial so far. Our goal is now to basically prove out what was proven back in the 70s and 80s, prove it again in real current time, so we can decontaminate the soil. I mean, the tests have been done. It's just there's nothing current.
And how do we get it to where it's current? I mean, I got to be honest with you guys. I don't have any faith in the EPA. I think that they have their own agenda, right? And the only people that are going to clean their soil is us. We are going to clean our own soil. They're not going to come in and do it. They're going to expect. We can't sit and wait for them to clean the soil or to give us the thumbs up to clean it. I think the only way it's going to happen is if we take matters in our own hands and do it ourselves. I mean, if I'm wrong, please say so.
Why ask permission? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's our world. We live in it, and we have something that's proven safe and effective. The only reason we would be held back is because of other industrial interests that are not interested in cleaning our environment and getting us a healthier, more vibrant environment.
Dr. Spencer, I want to come back to the environment, right? In just a few minutes. I have to go to a commercial. Guys, thank you. We will be right back.
KFC presents a Halloween tale. It came from the dark. It began like any other evening. They were hungry. Innocently, they went to KFC, where they discovered the new KFC dark meat menu.
Look at all those low prices!
Have you ever seen chicken priced this low? Yes, dark, delicious pieces of KFC legs and thighs, flavors like original recipe, extra crispy, and even tender roast. All at low, low prices.
Look at all those pieces!
It's KFC's dark meat menu. Whatever you do, don't eat it alone.
Hello?
I just wanted to compliment you on your new beautiful furniture.
Who is this?
Oh, I live in the building right next to, yours.
You do?
And I'm looking right inside your living room window.
My what?
I bet you've been to IKEA's store-wide sale, haven't you?
Jiminy, some creepy guy is looking in our window.
What? I bet you got that nice leather recliner from IKEA, too.
Yes, we get all our furniture from IKEA.
Especially right now during IKEA's super mega blowout sale, huh?
Jiminy!
What, woman?
Close the frickin' drapes!
Oh, I can see in the bedroom, too.
Oh, God. Jiminy!
What? Hey, are those designer shower curtains?
Ah! Jiminy!
Shut up, woman! The super mega blowout sale at IKEA, where you can get everything you need for your home.
Hey, and welcome back. Hey, this is Mark Ford. We are broadcasting live from Bogota, Colombia. And one of the cool things that we're doing is we got ourselves simulcast on over 142 radio stations. I understand we're also being simulcast on XM radio as well on the Ag Channel. Well, hey guys, everybody on the Ag Channel, Mark says hi, and so does the team. One thing I just read, I got to put this out here real quick. This is Olivares said that the EPA will continue to impose and collect fines that go into the agency's pocket and with no end in sight. Ma'am, Patty, we understand exactly what you're saying, and we know that's what's happening. And one way or another, it's going to have to stop because we are the only ones that can clean our soil, like I was saying earlier. It's only going to be us. If we expect them to do it, all they're going to do is come out to our farms and fine us because we didn't do it. So, but Amy, I know you wanted to put out a point here, And I can't wait to hear what you've got to say. Amy, tell me what you got.
Well, thank you, sir. It's a privilege and honor to be here again. And this is really for the listening audience. You know, there's millions of people listening right now. What's the power in that is the power of learning something and sharing. And if you don't know, you don't know. We're talking about cleaning the soil, air, and water. And if you're a cotton farmer, or if you have a friend who farms cotton, then you know that that is a real sticky wicket when it comes to your soil quality. And interestingly enough, over a year ago, here we are we're talking about waiting for the Farm Bill to pass and how this plant really resembles the green buffalo that the natives saw decades ago, centuries ago, and used for a circular economy. And so I just want to encourage you to look into shifting from cotton over to hemp fiber, because it takes 5,000 gallons of water to produce a mere 2 pounds of cotton. And that's a t-shirt and a pair of jeans. And then you look at the soil and all the heavy chemicals and pesticides that you use for cotton, and we're talking, that's a lot. Whereas the hemp plant takes a fraction of that water and no pesticides. So we really need to be looking at, number one, the impact of shifting over, number one. And number two, the leadership that is at this roundtable. We are a collective, and we didn't just show up. You're talking and listening in on a conversation with brilliant minds. And it's an honor for me to be on this line. I come from Microsoft, and I'm a tech nerd, and I love programming. And I've just been waiting for these leaders to show up. And you and I, listener, we get to hear what these gentlemen and women in these teams have been planning and strategizing and ushering in. We have solutions here. The Ford Biofuel Hemp Farmer Hero Program represents a collective, represents win-win-win, and represents a turnkey solution for the conventional farmer to jump into and actually prosper from today. And we can learn. We can learn from last year's mistakes, and we can wash our hands of that and move forward knowing not only there's hope, but there's a promise and a contract. So to that, I give it back over to Dr. Spencer and Mark so we can learn more about the impact of what we're doing here.
Go ahead, Dr. Spencer. Go ahead and continue what you were saying when we broke off to the commercial.
Well, I was talking about the converting or transmuting the chemical toxins from the environment into actually components that are useful. That's the basis of it. So I heard, I think it was Amy talking about the cotton. I'm a hemp raiser here in West Virginia as well, and we've noticed there's an issue with the chemicals transferring through from the soil into the final product, the oils that are going for medicine. And that is a big issue because hemp is a heavy chelator, and so if you're going to be planting hemp, you're going to be there's going to be a pulling or a drawing of those toxins into that plant, and then it's going to move to the next consumer. So you have to interrupt that cycle, and the only way really that I'm aware of to interrupt that is you have to use principles and microbes in the soil that are going to decontaminate, digest, and transmute those toxins out of or from the toxic side into the beneficial side. Otherwise, you're just going to be moving toxins from one place into another place. You have to interrupt that.
And
it certainly is a disruptor, too.
Well, the idea, Amy, is we could take the soil, we could take the hemp that's grown in that soil, but we can't use it for anything else. We can't use it for the fiber contracts or the clothing contracts. But like I was saying earlier, we could take it to the refineries and convert it to fuel or convert it to hempcrete, right, with our contracts that we have now.
Correct.
But as
and
for clothing,
that's part
no,
of...
it's not a good idea.
Correct. And, that's interesting is I think a lot of people have been waiting for hemp to come on the scene in a biofuel, but it's been seen as a more valuable crop for hemp seed oil or what have you. And so they just discount the impact and the value of seeing it as a mass, just like as a mass, you know, they see it as a diminished commodity, even though it's like the priority one and the first thing that, you know, who's bellying up to the buyers is aviation. And so that's what you're growing for. And so glory be, the other market categories are falling in line. And it's just a beautiful thing that everybody wants a different part of the plant. That's the beautiful part about it. Not everybody's after the seed. Not everybody's after the shaft. So that's the beautiful thing, is that every marketplace can take from this plant, and as a collective, we can eat from it.
Well, to add, Amy, if I will, you're one more layer of, you know, the ability to this plant and this production of this plant to impact everything is going back to the good doctors, both of them that are on the phone, Empire's process, that as we grow this plant that everybody wants to impact, if we do it with the proven process and the biochar in that process, then we're cleaning the soil, we're speaking to all those things and all those byproducts of the plant's impact. And when we look behind us, the soil is remediated. So it's a new rotation crop for all of those reasons you just spoke of, and a process that underwrites the soil being cleaned. So, you know, it's really exciting to be a part of that. And I think it's even one step further. I mean, we just come through with one sweep. And we've started a new rotation crop for all these uses. And we look behind us, and the soil is ready for the next crop and remediated. So.
What is your opinion about doing back-to-back hemp crops?
It's a Brad question.
I think that it would be great. So as an intelligence person in the ag community, I've looked at sudden death syndrome movement of soybean crops. I've looked at the eradication boll weevil project within cotton plants, and so on and so forth, and looked at the migration patterns of these pressures within large farming communities. And I think if we could provide a good market that allowed farmers to justify growing this as a true rotation crop, I think you would see benefits for years. I think you would see a break in the weed pressure cycles. I think you'd see a break in insect pressures and the cycles they have. And I think that would carry on for years.
But can you do it back to back to back to back to back? You know, back at home, back in Ohio, we had to do corn 1 year, soybean the next, winter, wheat, and winter. Corn 1 year, soybean the next, winter, wheat, and winter.
Well,
I think time will tell for sure.
That farmers ask me. Pardon me?
The thing with that is, it is a typical farm. Nobody really knows, because you have the other commodity crops that, you know, deplete or, you know, suck dry a specific nutrient. Dr. Will helps us. We can do kind of, we feed the soil. You don't have to necessarily rotate a crop. If you want to grow soybeans for 30 years, I mean, I think Dr. Will could probably explain that a little better, but it's about how you take care of the soil, not necessarily what crop you plant.
Well, I guess the best thing about it is they're not putting chemicals on the crop then. Is that what destroys it, or why we have to rotate?
It's the working of the soil. It's the chemicals we use. It's the whole program we have for a monocultural agricultural system. I mean, you've got one crop. It's a big monocrop. Those plants, those diseases will move exponentially. It's all about breaking those cycles. Right now, we haven't been growing hemp in America long enough to develop large-scale pest and disease issues within this crop. So I think we definitely have the ability right now to place it into the current agricultural system and provide a really good alternative for farmers to break some of those cycles.
And, you know, the idea is breaking the cycle is the problem. Farmers are worried about the industrial hemp market because they're afraid of what happened last year with the CBD market. I'm curious, in Indian Nation, how many people got taken advantage of on the CBD market in the Indian Nation?
The ones that didn't get taken advantage of didn't have good crops.
That's a way to put it.
Well, I mean, Brad, we were, Brad and Brad was worked with our group that we were part of the pilot, one of the very first pilots. And we fought, humidity, bugs, and other issues. I mean, we were unique in that we moved our own surface water, generated our own power, and made our own greenhouses out of a hay barn. We did real well there. The problems that we faced were, here's $10,000 worth of seeds. None of them came up. We overcame the wet weather, a lot of the bugs. Fortunately, we had Brad Fawcett helping us with that, but our end products were just diminished by, a lot of things that we couldn't help, right? Genetics.
Well, we were some of the first people to take a traditional horticultural crop like CBD or marijuana and try to grow it on an agronomic basis as a row crop. And by doing that, we realized the limitations of those genetics. And what we're talking about today with a fiber crop is not the same kind of crop we tried to grow in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we you guys grow that like a bamboo crop. A fiber crop is grown like a bamboo crop. It's real thick.
Right.
Exactly. It's apples and oranges here. I mean, there's a lot of confusion in the agricultural world. A lot of farmers don't really understand those breaks. Hemp is hemp in a lot of people's minds, and they don't understand that one is a horticultural crop and one is an agronomic crop. And what we're really interested in is the long-term benefits of this agronomic crop.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So, we learned a whole lot, and this year will be different for us, for sure. We're going to grow the right crop, the right time, the right place.
The thing is that we're bringing the genetic to the farmers. We're giving the farmer the genetic that would grow for biofuel. This genetic is the same as for biofuel and for fiber clothing. And Amy has reached out to a lot of people and spoke to them, and they are very, very receptive to this. I did get a message from a Claire over in the UK, and she did say that it takes 10,000 liters of water to grow cotton, and only 2,000 liters of water to grow a product of hemp. So, I mean, look how much water we're saving by using hemp.
A fraction.
I think it's less than that. I don't even think that most of these cultivars of hemp that we're talking about today need that much water. Once they're established, they really don't need much at all.
It's
about
3 gallons per acre per hour.
Is that because of your technology or because of the way these benchmark studies were set up, or a little bit of both?
That has nothing to do with a technology of mine. That is for a typical fiber hemp farmer. That's what it takes for them to be able to grow it. Use my technology, it's half of that.
And those are soil amendments and nutrients that you're referring to?
That's correct. That's Dr. Spencer's specialty. Which he's in
turnkey.
It is. We try to make it as easy as possible for the farmer. We don't want you to go buy fertilizer to put on it. It doesn't need that. You need to replenish nutrients, but not with fertilizer. It's a process that we teach you how to do so you don't have to go anywhere. You make it there. You put it on your own field. We keep it organic and safe. No masks, no chemicals. And it doesn't matter what we use the crop for. It's always going to be safe.
I have a question. Have you noticed that, or is this, are you customizing it to each farm, and are you noticing different variances where you go in regions?
We always get a good production, and it's because we use the right genetics for the region and amend the soil before we ever put those genetics in. And to answer your question, we want to know what's in the soil so we know how to tackle it. Dr. Will has a specific microbe for, petrochemical or whatever contamination is in the soil. We kind of have to know what it is in order to be able to target it correctly. But results are always above average when the soil is remediated correctly, the plant is fed correctly, and it's in its right environment. We can't expect a Canadian strain to grow in Mexico. It's not what they do. So we respect the zone of the plant that it comes from, and you will have success. But you have to know where your strains are coming from.
There's one more.
I got to argue that 1 second there. I got to argue that one real quick. I have that same strain here in Colombia that we had in Afghanistan, and it grows perfect. That strain grew in the desert. If anybody tells me hemp does not grow in the sand, I will look at them and call them a liar. I watched it with my own eyes. And we grew a lot of it over there, and we used it for our purposes. But, excuse me, if someone tries to tell me that hemp doesn't grow in the sand, I got news for them. I got pictures to prove them wrong. That same strand over here will grow here in Colombia as well.
It will. It absolutely will. And it's a weed. It naturally populates itself.
That's
and
why
will
they
grow
call it weed.
in
It grows
sand.
anywhere.
Yeah. In a desert, in cracks of concrete. It grows very easily.
Absolutely.
We try to maximize the production by a specific strain. You have a specific strain, they do well. I mean, there are strains that you can place almost anywhere, and they will produce. You have a specific strain for biofuel.
There's another thing, Amy. Sean, tell Amy about, she's asking what makes it different, what makes it successful. There's another piece to it that Sean is not talking about that works for, you've heard him say, a 1 acre farmer to a 1 million acre farmer. And that is, okay, we've got the process, we have the soil media, we've got the right seed. What we do works with every farmer, big farmer, medium farmer, small farmer, nonprofit farmer. And that is, we come in and when we do an assessment of the farm, we're also assessing your equipment, your ability to seed it in, harvest it, post-harvest processing. We have a solution to, if you don't have all the equipment, great. We have some specialized attachments, harvesting, post-harvesting. Talk a little bit about that, Sean. What makes it work for every farmer, whether they have old equipment, big equipment, medium-sized equipment, or no equipment?
Depending on, what the capability of the farmer is, which we assess when we go out, we can set up for the farmer, another contract farmer to come in, and we can have them till in the seed. We can have them come back and harvest it, and we'll haul it out of there. And, that's obviously a cost to the farmer. But it's entirely possible for you to do nothing with your land and just sit on it.
Yeah.
And
or you don't need to buy a $2 million piece of equipment.
No, not at all.
That's what we do, Sean. But what we're doing is we're giving the farmer X amount of dollars per acre. We're supplying the fuel and the seed, right? And then after they bale it, we're getting it hauled off their property, and then the farmer gets paid within 48 hours, minus weekends and holidays. I got to say that, right? That's a attorney thing there, right? They're paid within 48 hours after we pick up their product.
Absolutely, and that's why you are a great resource for these farmers, and we push that to farmers. Let's do this. It's guaranteed for you.
Yeah,
And there's
our
a collective and a seed to sales
seeds are already paid for. I mean, the seeds are paid for before they're even. I mean, the product is paid for before it's even put in the ground.
And I think what the listener needs
farmer.
to understand, please envision with us for a minute here. We're a collective that is seed to sale. This conversation is the supply chain that a farmer can plug into and grow strong with purpose under a program, under SOPs, which is standard operating procedures that we have. We have the genetics, the fuel, and the leadership. This is a frontline partnership, and it does take a village. It takes the right professional village to usher in a new paradigm of sustainability. And guys, we got 10 short years. We have less than 10 years now where the UN goals and sustainability are going to be in full effect. And we're here to make sure that our economy is going to be not only protected, but promoted within this new sustainable shift. And so what we're ushering in here is a complete solution. That you tell your friends and family that are in the farming industry to listen to this broadcast and understand what is at stake for them and their prosperity in years to come for 2020. And that's all I got to say about that. I know we're going to go to break soon. So.
For sustainability, though, there requires a different mindset of looking at the soil, because the sustainability is in the soil. You got to treat that soil like an animal. You got to feed that animal with nutrition. You got to feed that soil with nutrition and diversity of microbes. That is what's going to keep the genetic integrity in whatever you're planting in it.
That's right.
Without the food for the seeds to grow, the plants to grow in, you're not allowing the full genetic potential, and that's where we have over 90 different elements plus hundreds of different strains of soil microbes to hold that genetic integrity. At the same time, you're cleaning and feeding, and you're creating a biosphere, a healthy, balanced biosphere.
For commodities. And that's what's different. And that's what people don't understand. And it's okay, because it's a new paradigm and it's a new concept. We are growing plastic. Who would have thought? People know a little bit about that, but it's also inferior. But now it's superior, and it outperforms. Plant-based fiberglass, bioplastics, they all outperform. And that's what's exciting for our farmer, is that they are in the driver's seat of making a new economy with the commodities at hand. They are growing them instead of us squeezing Mother Earth for oil. New game, new paradigm.
And by God, that's how we're going to handle it. Hey, Amy, guys, I got to go to a commercial, but just thank you, all the people listening. We'll be right back in just a few minutes from our sponsors.
The following is an important time-insensitive announcement from Staples. Now, for an unlimited time only, Staples is drastically cutting their everyday prices on hundreds of products your business needs. That's right, the clock is not ticking. Walk, crawl, or lollygag to Staples, and you will not miss this opportunity. These are everyday price cuts. Take a 4-pack of AA Duracell batteries, was $4.79, now just $2.99. But act now or later, because these Staples everyday price cuts will be around for a really, really long time. Price cuts like a 2-pack of Scotch Magic Tape, previously $4.79, now just $2.99. And Scotch Packaging Tape, now just $2.29 for today, tomorrow, and pretty much every day till the cows come home. But don't hurry. These everyday price cuts are indefinite. To repeat, these prices will last. So stop by your nearest Staples whenever it's convenient and take advantage of these normal, continuing everyday price cuts. Thank you.
We asked for 3 seconds. Yes, for 3 seconds. But they gave 5 seconds.
Hey, I can't forget the taste now. Subway chicken tandoori, satabule lupa. Subway chicken tandoori, it's here to stay. Get it every day. So succulent, delicious, you will want to go and get some more. I can't forget the taste now. Subway chicken tandoori, I can't forget the taste. Subway chicken tandoori, spicy, crunchy, chunky, tender, moist Subway. It's no wonder you can't forget the taste. Sada pada la zada da sumara mari mari. Can't forget the taste now. Subway chicken tandoori, satabule lupa. Subway chicken tandoori. Oi, delicious Lord. Sada pada la zada da sumara mari mari. Can't forget the taste of the chicken tandoori.
Hey, this is Mark Ford. Hey, welcome back to our show. We got about 30 minutes left here, and I want to say thank you to all of the people listening. I don't have the numbers for the AM and FM, but I do have the numbers for the internet. And our internet listeners have topped 1.9 million. Guys, thank you so much. We are so proud to be able to come to you and talk to you and explain to you what's happening on our system and what we're trying to put together with the farmers in America and with Indian Nation. And the idea for us to put it together and you guys to give us your impressions of what you think is what's important. Next week, we are going to have another group of Indian Nation on with us that are coming on board with us. And I want to be able to have you guys to know that our YouTube radio station that we're in the process of building, we just put it out this week for the first time. Unfortunately, I mean, we didn't get it out fast enough, but we will make sure that the people know about the YouTube radio station before it goes out. But actually, Amy has asked me to bring her back on, and she wants to talk about Kim Grubb, one of our partners in Mississippi, for Miss Delta Hemp.
That's right. Kim Grubbs is an amazing individual, one of my favorites in the world, of course. However, all that being said, Kim is in Mississippi, and what he's doing with Miss Delta Hemp is quite prolific in that region. And Kim, thank you for being on with us, and I'm so excited for you to share with all of us your insights into the power of one. Power of one when we're looking at a global economy and then what we're doing locally. So go ahead, Kim. Welcome, and thank you so much for being with us. I love you so much.
Thank you, Amy. Likewise. So I came back to Mississippi about 8 years ago and started spending more time in the place where I grew up. And it's connected to the other things that we've been talking about today because it's the region in Mississippi where cotton was and is still grown. And it has some of the same problems that crop has had in other places. And it's, the soil is decimated, the economy is decimated. The little towns that supported farmers all these years are dying or have died. And it was heartbreaking to me. And so I, at some point a few years ago, started thinking about what are the possibilities for growing hemp in the Mississippi Delta. And I just followed that thought for a while and started doing what kind of research I could. And as it turns out, we couldn't grow hemp even when the Farm Bill was passed because it is not legal to grow it in Mississippi and 2 other states so far. So then I, thought about what else can I do? And the reason I'm going to talk about this for a minute is because there's been a lot of technical information today by experts who know exactly what they're doing, and it almost sounds overwhelming and makes one ask oneself, what can I do? So what I did was went to the hemp conference in New Orleans last year, and I had with me a laminated map of Mississippi, a laminated map of the Mississippi Delta, and $10 business cards from Office Depot. And within a few hours after I got there, I met Amy Ansel. And we started visiting with one another and immediately liked each other. And didn't really follow up that much. We spoke to each other about once a week in the beginning of the year last year. But as the year progressed, we started talking about more things that had emerged and what were we going to do. And I can't even believe that I'm actually a part of this organization. But that's what's happened. And I say it because I do think it is possible for all of us to participate in this paradigm shift, as Amy said. And so what I did in Mississippi, where you can't grow hemp, is to look at our existing infrastructure. What is here right now? How can we support the 4 states that border Mississippi in their hemp production? So we've started talking about warehouses, drying facilities, cotton gins, equipment that's not being used. We've discovered that there is already a fiber processing plant in Mississippi. There's already a biofuel refinery in Mississippi that is dormant, and we've engaged those people. And it's really been fascinating because we're working with a plant. And I think if we just get out of our own way, this process really becomes organic. The way you meet people, the way I ran into Amy, the way she introduced me to Mark Ford, it grows very quickly. And in the past few months, what's happened to us, guys, it's overwhelming. And we are so grateful for all the opportunity that has come our way. And so I think any of us can do whatever it is we can do. Bring your talents to this. It's astounding every single day. And I look forward to introducing the Hemp Farmer Heroes program to farmers who can grow right now and to the farmers who are not able to grow right now. Everyone can participate. We can clean up our soil that's had poison and insecticides and defoliants put on it for centuries, and just try to do our part, do what we can to improve the quality of our earth, more importantly, to improve our quality of life, and even more importantly, improve our relationships with each other. I think we all are yearning for that right now. And this is a vehicle to do that. So join us. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Kim. There's no doubt that this is a disruption, and we are disruptors, and we are facilitators, and we are here to disrupt in a very harmonious way. We are here to help our communities not only prosper and stay in the game, because plastics are going to be taxed, if not outlawed, all right, because there are solutions. And other countries are leagues ahead of us, I must say. So as a listener, may it be put on your heart to really think about how you can be a contribution. There are millions of people listening. And just think, where are you? Are you sitting in insurance? Are you sitting at Costco? Wherever you're at in your life, you're listening to this for a reason. And you're supposed to be listening to this, maybe not for you, but maybe for your friend who's the farmer or whatever. It will present itself, and you will have a download and a knowing. And I think it's really good to understand as a listener how you can be a contribution and how you can get plugged in this month with where Tim and Sean are leading this initiative with the natives. And so I just, give it over to Brad and Sean to talk about that so we can really be in action. We can be in action with our sharing, and we can be in action of getting together and really understanding what it's going to take to do this together. Because you listening right now, you matter. Your listening matters to us. And we stand in gratitude that you actually are giving us the time to hear this and to think about it, marinate on it, and share it. Share it how it presents itself to you. It all resonates differently with all of us. However, we're standing in unison because there's so much to do. So every voice on this phone has a different why. However, all of our whys are so beautifully 5 chords that sound good together. not in confusion, but harmony. So, gentlemen, please, let's talk about what we can do this month in February.
I'm going to refer over to Dr. Foss. He's got his event, and then Tim Hausberg has a list of events that we'll all be at. Dr. Fawcett, go ahead.
Yeah, so we've got the hemp conference, the Arkansas Hemp Conference this weekend in Little Rock, Arkansas. It'll be a accumulation of a lot of Delta farmers looking for alternatives. And we plan on really hitting that hard. I mean, there's a lot of people that need to be educated about this new crop and want to see some guarantees on it. And I think this is a great opportunity to put some of these thoughts in front of them. And then the other one is the absentee Shawnee ballot. And I'll let Tim talk about that, but that's coming up at the end of February, and we'll all be a part of it as well. Tim, go ahead with your agendas. Well, I don't hear Tim. I don't
Sorry
know all
about
the
that.
details.
That's the Oklahoma. I do. Oh, sorry about that. Technical difficulties there on my end. That's the Oklahoma Hemp Summit. That's being sponsored by the Absentee Shawnee, February the 23rd. That's going to be a gathering of former people like Brad, people like Sean, Native Americans who are interested in getting into hemp processing, hemp growing. That'll be the first big gathering in Oklahoma of indigenous speaking on that subject. Amy, I've sent you the information on that. We're going to be talking about the Ford opportunity there as well. After that, we don't have all the details. It'll be the Global Hemp University Research Group that Brad and Sean and myself have started with some of the other universities, and we'll be getting you an update on the first gathering of that joint venture as well. But again, February the 23rd in Shawnee, Oklahoma, the Oklahoma Hemp Summit.
Well, those are some great. You guys, I was just going to say, guys, they're going to be there. Those dates, you're going to be able to meet the leaders and meet this program, because we're going to be there to help facilitate more understanding and onboarding into such a prolific program.
Yep. We look forward to maybe Mr. Ford joining us by Skype at either of those events, and then in person real soon. So,
well, you know, my family is part Shawnee, right? And don't be mistaken if I put on my headdress, and start, dancing around and whatnot.
Don't do that.
I won't. I won't do that. I'm just throwing it out there. Hey guys, I really appreciate you. Go ahead.
Yeah, we look forward to presenting this opportunity to Indian country, Mr. Ford. All joking aside, we are very, very serious, very excited about this, and we thank you, to have this option in Indian country as we move forward.
Man, I really appreciate you guys being on the radio with us. It was very informative and very, 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 and very. My God, it's very informative. I look so much forward to working with the Indian Nation. Anything I could do to help the Indian Nation or the farmers in the United States, I am all on board. Period. What is really people need to understand is that the Indians, right? They were the people here first, and these people know the land. I mean, there's a lot of people say, "Hey, I'm an agronomist. I would teach all from the university. I know everything about land." But guys, I hate to say it, but I would trust a farmer or an Indian that has dirt under his fingernails before I would trust a college graduate agronomist. I mean, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
yeah, one's
sir.
got. Yes, sir.
Like, I mean, if you don't got dirt under your fingernails, you have no experience. right? But I mean, the people that the Indian Nation, they have the experience. They have a lot of experience, and it's not to be hung up on. I mean, you guys got to understand that Indian Nation and the farmers of the United States, they know the soil, they know the property, they know the land. The EPA does not. Only our farmers and the Indian Nation know this land. And I'm 100% behind supporting them. And I know they support me. So what I want to say is, guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on our radio station and giving us your input about the Cherokee now, Choctaw, right, Indian Nation, and how we can help them and how they can help us. It's very important that we work together to keep our nation, our beautiful nation, and our beautiful world alive.
Well,
I
thank
agree.
you. It was an honor to be on your show.
But thank you. No, I'm happy that you guys get on. Amy, do you have any last thoughts?
We are history in the making, and I am it's a privilege to be on a contribution, and the Green Buffalo Distro is just standing in service. This is an amazing time in history, you guys. So thanks for listening, and there's so much more to come, and I can't wait till next week's conversation with, whoever Sean and Tim are bringing to the table. There's so much more to come, you guys. We're going to advance the conversation in some incredible ways. So please stay tuned and continue to give us your input. We want to hear from you, and we love your feedback, because without you, what are we doing? So thanks, and have a great week.
Nothing. Exactly. Joaquin, we haven't heard a word from you the whole show, man. Give us your last foot.
I appreciate it, man. It was just great listening to some of the technicalities there of how the soil gets remediated and cleaned up, because it's such a pain center for being able to use that land and provide value towards the farmer. I just think that that's a crucial point that we talked about as far as setting the stage for being able to really take hold of the value of that land that the Indian Nation has, and we look forward to kind of working with them and providing value back into America, and especially the Native American communities. They were here before us. They were the backbone of this whole continent, and I would love to see them thrive further, and also all the just like I guess the generality of helping the farmers with the FLP and Green Buffalo Distro and the sales contracts that Ford Biofuel hold really solidifies the future of the industrial hemp plant, and having it take back its nobility in American agriculture and global agriculture as well. So I look forward to advancing the conversation next week and hearing from some more partners.
Great. Thank you, Joaquin. Kim, what's your last words, man?
Great being on the broadcast today, Mark. I really enjoyed hearing all the technical information and all the possibilities. And I want to do what I can, to move this forward. And actually, it's moving itself forward. I don't have to do anything but show up, and that's just wonderful. Thank you.
No problem, buddy. Thank you for being with us, buddy. Hey, Tim Hausberg, Mr. Hausberg, give us your last thoughts, buddy.
Yeah, my last thoughts are the plant is in charge. Everybody grow big or grow home. We are
grow big or go home. Hell yeah. Amen.
So I appreciate everybody being here. We'll be here next week. And it's the entourage effect. It takes all of us. See you next week.
We cannot do it by ourselves.
Amen to that, brother.
Mr. Hatley.
Yes, sir. I'm a warrior for Mother Earth. I'm in this to clean up our earth. Having said that, I've been looking for the day when I can drive a hybrid vehicle that's running on hemp biodiesel in a self-charging auto, and with biodiesel for my tractor. and driving on Hemp Creek roads with everything manufactured from hemp fiber, including the plastics that are being used in our cars and trucks and every other product. And if there's any throwaway plastics, they'll be biodegradable because they're made from hemp. So I want to see a renewable earth. I don't want any more pollution out there. That's my life's goal. It's been what I've worked for all my life. And I'm really excited that finally cannabis is coming back into our world, into our lives, and its hidden treasures are finally coming to light and being known and being utilized.
Mr. Hatley, thank you so much from the bottom of our heart to be on the show with us. My heart just is, I am so excited to work with you guys. I am so excited to work with your tribe. I cannot wait to get up there and meet you guys. I cannot wait to get up there and just enjoy the camaraderie, if you understand what I mean.
Well, come on up.
Bye, golly. Hey, Sean Vanderpool. Hey, from Hemp Empire. Give me some last words, buddy.
I just want to thank everybody that's on here that's a part of the team, their dedication, the research and time that they've put into this to make a structure that benefits farmer to a big industry. Everybody's got to win, and I appreciate the team that's being assembled. I think we'll do great things.
Super. Is one of the perfect people that we've met for what we're putting together. It was Sean, and he's bringing the Indian Nation to our table. We are so pleased to bring him to our table and put him in our board that I just want to welcome you, Sean. Thank you so much.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Dr. Fawcett. Hey, Dr. Fawcett, let's hear some last words. You are the guy.
Well, I really look forward to the sustainability of all of this. Having the options for farmers, for row crop farmers, to look at this as a potential rotation or as a primary crop, I think that's got enormous potential. I think looking at compromised land and what we can do with it to clean it up, to stabilize it, to better our environment. I mean, it's just our human duty. We have to come together as one tribe, one species, and look at this land, rebuild our soils, rebuild our water, and rebuild our air in the process of moving forward as one tribe. I look forward to looking at the different cultivars and what the potential of each one will be, and really the ones that will stand out for our uses here in Indian country and for farming in general. I look forward to growing a plant that can clothe, that can fuel, that can feed, that can clean, and that can break cycles that we've created for an agricultural monoculture system that we have, monocrop system that we have. My passion has been the plant and in all of its uses. In 1994, when I was in college, I had to take some dumb communication class that I really didn't want to take. And they said, well, what do you want to talk about? And I said, well, I'm going to talk about hemp and everything it can do. And in 1994, that wasn't a real popular thing to talk about. But I opened up a lot of people's eyes, and I opened up my own in that process to see, that, hey, this can really help a lot of people. And it is our human duty to look at it. Thanks so much for
Dr. Fawcett, we respect your opinion, and we welcome you to our show anytime. Any opinion you have, we're really willing to have you on with us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. We have one more doctor here, right? Is he online? Dr. Stevens, is it? Spencer, Dr. Spencer, where you at?
Hi, yeah, thanks for allowing me to chat a little bit today. Appreciate Sean for even asking me to come on. I didn't even know you guys were doing this.
Dr. Spencer, if I had your information in the beginning, I promise you I wouldn't have forgot your name. I take the hit for that, buddy. But thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. Right? Give us your last words, Ben.
Well, last words are we need to take and focus on the soil and nutrient density in the soil and taking care of building the soil, because everything starts right there. That's been my focus and my passion.
And how long have you been at that, if I could ask real quick?
Since the early 1990s, passionately. I was raised on a farm in northern Minnesota, so my father was a conventional farmer with an airplane and pesticides and all that, and I didn't regain my health until I left that farming and discovered biodynamic and organic agriculture.
Wow. Well, Dr. Spencer, thank you for joining us. Again, you and Dr. Fawcett are always welcome to join us on our radio show to help us with the engineering or any insights that you might have, right? But
awesome.
Hey, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate everybody listening. Oh my goodness, let me do a count here. We have on our other internet site, Amy, we broke 2.3 million. 2.3
million listening live on the internet right now.
On the internet, yes. Wow.
Oh, glory be.
Awesome, man. God bless
you guys.
Thank you for listening to us. Wow.
Thank you.
Right? And the problem was we didn't get the YouTube out that fast. And there's only 16 on the YouTube right now. That's funny as hell. But that's cool. Right? I get all warm and fuzzy over that. Thank you guys for listening so much.
Yeah.
God love you guys. Thank you so much for listening to us. Oh, wow. I'm so happy. Right?
I'm tickled.
Oh, wow. That's a record breaker for us.
That's really
great. That's a record breaker. Wow. Hey, well, I know they're trying to say, hey, man, go to commercial. Wait a second. This is my time. Hey,
we're high-fiving.
We are at www.fordbiofuel.com. Fordbiofuel.com. And go to the bottom to get more information. Click the button that says get more info. Fill out the information and we'll send it to you.
You were on the Hemp Farmer team now. Just got big for you.
Exactly. What's that?
Are we on?
Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, we're still on. Yeah, we're here.
All right.
Well, anyway, guys, if you haven't gone to FordBiofuel.com, you can go to buystock.FordBiofuel.com, and you can get in on the process. Buystock.FordBiofuel.com, and go in there and get you some shares real quick because we're growing fast, and you know what happens when you grow fast. So, hey, guys, it was a pleasure to have you on with us. God bless you guys. Go home. Be safe. Have a good party tonight or whatever you're doing. But come back next week at 1 to 3. We will be live here again.
Thank you so much.